This is the final investigation on the series of the Hauntings of Irish Road. In this video, we investigate a large section of Irish Road where the Irish settlers came here in the 1800s. Back in the days when the Irish came here to Carmel, a lot of these immigrants came from Ireland. Due to the famines that struck Ireland, a lot of Irish immigrants came here to the United States. A lot of Irish settlers came here to Maine when this famine hit Ireland. Recently, last fall, we paid a visit to this land where the Irish settlers came here to Carmel. And I was surprised that we captured paranormal activity this deep into the woods off of Irish Road. I took a number of still shots and I was surprised of what looked like an apparition coming up out of the ground. I decided we needed to go back and do an investigation at these Irish homesteads to see if there's any activity there. During this investigation of the Irish homestead, this investigation suddenly takes an unbelievable turn, and you want to watch this from beginning all the way to the end to see how this transpired with a spirit who came to visit us during this investigation. We start out our journey heading towards the Patrick Harrington former homestead a few hundred yards off Irish Road. I'm overtaken by the beauty of this land. Compared to where the Harringtons came from, this is paradise. Patrick Harrington was born in 1811 in Bearhaven, Cork, Ireland. Patrick came to the United States and bought land in Carmel in 1833. Patrick married Mary Casey on the 18th of November 1835 in Bangor. Mary is the daughter of Daniel and Ellen Casey, who also purchased land here in Carmel off Irish Road. There were 4 Irish in the 1840 census for Carmel. They were Daniel Casey, Patrick Harrington, Paul Murphy, and Daniel O'Neill. Patrick Harrington and Daniel O'Neill came from Ireland together. They were naturalized the same time in Bangor in 1840. Most of the Irish that came over from Ireland were potato farmers. But what I found interesting about Patrick Harrington and the Harrington family, when they came to Carmel, they didn't get into potato farming, but what they did start was a mining operation. They were searching for gold and silver right here on this land in Carmel. This was called the Harrington Gold Mine of Carmel, Maine. Historically, the site had been part of the Carmel area. And this location is right off Irish Road, where we're heading to right now. Patrick Harrington died on February 1st, 1889 at the age of 77. His wife Mary died 16 years before he did on April 5th, 1873. As soon as we arrived at the former foundation to the Harrington house, the paranormal activity begins. I think when we came out here, there was no leaves at all.
One of the hair. One of the hair.
So now we're right here at the Harrington mine, where they did the mining back in the 1800s. This is where they mined for gold and silver. So this looks like a giant ant pile.
Yeah.
Where they dug a hole in.
Dug out and brought it out and tossed it.
Harringtons. Any Harringtons here? Are you from Ireland?
Oh, property marker.
Hello? Hello? Cleve, did you just hear that voice?
I heard something kind of high pitched.
Yeah, hello? Harrington, is that you? How far away are we from a house?
Oh, Steve's house is probably a good quarter-mile that way. And
So
he
that's
has no kids.
okay, so that wouldn't be his voice.
No.
Harrington. My name's Kent, this is Cleve. Are you guys here?
Well, I'm wondering if they use those rocks to fill the shaft in. I'm wondering if they use those rocks to fill the shaft in. I'll have to go get Steve sometime. And
Must be animals wandering around here because I'm hearing some strange noises. But that was definitely a voice of a man,
I heard
no
something
doubt. That was definitely a man. And if you heard it, you
Yeah,
can imagine how loud it was.
Right, exactly. I don't hear myself. That's fine.
It sounded like somebody is 100 feet away from me and said something.
See, this here, like, I've
parked in front of the house, that could have been like where the huge garden would have been, because you know they had a huge garden. And I wish I was healthy enough to, or get some more guys that were really into metal detecting.
Yeah.
Because you could find something as simple and personable as their buttons or suspender clasps, and you're not going to find money because they probably didn't have any.
Right.
But just personal items like that, I think is so cool.
Unless they hit a pot of gold somewhere.
Right, right.
Of course, that would be the landowner.
That's a lot of rock and dirt right there.
Well, that's definitely the mine.
Yeah.
Cleve's looking for anything that you guys might have had here. So Cleve found what looks like a really thick chisel type tool right over in here, right here by the mine. So there's definitely artifacts still here. And you can tell this is really old. So you found this right here, right? And that's how close we are to the mine right here. So Cleve found an old spoon right here at the Harrington mine. And you found that down that way, didn't you?
Right behind the mine, right down in that little bit of an opening there.
Makes you wonder who it belonged to. It's definitely old.
Yes. Where it's that long and elongated, and plus it's where it's that rusty, it was probably iron.
Yeah.
Some of the metal detecting YouTube channels that I watch, they find spoons all the time, and they were asking, why spoons? Why not knives and forks? I mean, they find them, but not anywhere near as much as spoons.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that a lot of times that's what children used as toys for digging in the dirt.
Yeah, yeah.
So they could have that could have been why they lost so many.
I can see that.
Yeah, and of course, you know, the father or whoever, the man out working, he would have had it. I mean, that's thin and light.
Now we did hear a couple voices out here that sounded like disembodied voices. I mean, I really thought somebody was about 100 feet away from us and said something to us, and I turned around and there's nobody there. But we're going to go ahead and do a spirit box session, see if we capture anything here at the Harrington mine. Never know. Cleve wants to know where your gold is. If you have hidden gold, I'm sure the man that owns this land now could use it. Did you hear that? No. Pot of gold? So you are Irish. Where's your pot of gold? This is why I love doing this. He said pot of gold. Wow. Cleve wants to know where your gold is. they have hidden gold. I'm sure the man that owns this land now could use it. Did you hear that? Pot of gold? So you are Irish.
We want to know where your gold is. Yeah, hidden gold. I'm sure the man that owns this land now could use it. Where's your pot of gold?
Is there anybody here with the Caseys? The Murphys? Harringtons? My name's Kent. I've come to what used to be your homestead back in the 1800s. A lot of people tell me Irish Road is haunted. I come here to see if this is true. Is there anybody here, please? Hello? So this is where the Casey home once stood back in the 1800s. And all that's left is the rock footing that goes around this section. Right here is where the chimney once stood, and all that's left is brick pieces all over the ground where it fell over. This hole down in the ground, that was the cellar to the Casey home. Is there anybody with the Caseys here, please? Where I'm sitting right here, was this your barn? Is this where you had your horses? I wanted to tell you this is beautiful land. I can see why you wanted to settle here. If you're here, are you just wanting to be left alone? I'm not here to bother you or anything. I'm just here to try to figure out what happened to you guys. A lot of residents believe that this road out here, which is called Irish Road, is haunted by spirits. I was just curious if any of these spirits are you guys. And if your spirits are on this land, I was trying to figure out why. What happened to you? That's all I'm here for. And I hope it's okay with you, and I hope that you talk to me about it, because I'd really like to find out what happened to you. I swear it looks like an apparition is standing over here. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Did you just say something? Did you just say something?
Did you just say something?
Hello? disembodied voice. Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello? Disembodied voice. Don't know if this camera picked it up. Is this your way of letting me know you're here? Are you wanting to talk now, or are you wanting me to leave? So Cleve, you came across this, and this is actually the well that belonged to the Caseys.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's pretty interesting that after all these years, this well still sits here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it goes down pretty
Hit
deep.
the bottom, so it's probably 4 foot. Oh, you take 150 years, I would imagine there's been a lot of silt, you know, and leaves that have fallen into that.
Yeah.
Usually they had a scoop. It looked like a round shovel, but it was kind of scooped up this way, and they would keep scooping it out, and then after a while it would settle, and then you get some nice fresh water again. I've been up here right in the dead of summer, and that still has water in it, so.
Hello? Hello? Are you guys here? Are you guys here? Is there anything you guys like to say? Who's out in these woods? I mean, as far as a spirit. Hello? Hello? Did somebody burn you out of your homes? Because I got a feeling that's what happened to you guys, and I need some type of verification from you if this happened. During this investigation, I was surprised to hear a number of times these spirits talk about being burned out. And there's something that Cleve and I noticed during this investigation. At every homestead location, all we can find was materials from these homes, such material being fire resistant. We noticed it was strange that there is no type of building materials left as far as burnable type material, which this gave us an indication, and there was evidence that a lot of these homes that the Irish lived in off Irish Road were actually burned down. Normally, in a large area like this, where a number of homes once stood, there would be some type of evidence of building structures, some type of wood material. However, all we found was metal type material, rock, bricks, and non-combustible materials. So I began to look into the history of what happened back in the 1800s regarding the Irish here in the United States, even here in Maine. And shockingly, I found out there were a number of gang factions out of Bangor that went across the state of Maine wanting to rid the Irish off the land here in Maine. I found a number of historical references where these gangs went to different towns, small towns, burning them out of their homes and burning down their churches. In the town of Bath and Ellsworth, these factions went into these towns specifically to remove the Irish settlers. A number of these gang factions blamed the Irish for bringing a number of diseases here to the state of Maine, and some even went as far as saying they had proof from pictures that the Irish came with the hand of death on them. Now, as far as the Irish settlers here in Carmel, history shows that the Carmel residents back here in the 1800s pretty much accepted the Irish settlers here. Into the late 1800s, into the early 1900s, there is so much prejudice against the Irish, a group of people believed the Irish were all diseased, drunkards, and even went as far as calling them terrorists. There's even businesses that posted signs, "Irish need not apply." And a lot of people back in those days felt like the Irish could not contribute to society, so they looked at them as a plague to be removed. I think it's safe to say that the evidence does show that the settlers on Irish Road were more than likely removed off the land by these gang factions that went across the state of Maine persecuting the Irish. Is there anybody here that died on Irish Road? And if you are, can you tell me your name, please?
That died on Irish Road.
Is there anybody here that died on Irish Road? And if you are, can you tell me your name, please? Is there anybody here that died on Irish Road? And if you are, can you tell me your name, please? What happened to you? How did you die? Jimmy, are you here? Now, if you watched the first Irish Road investigation, in that investigation, we went to the accident site where 16-year-old Jimmy and 14-year-old RJ were instantly killed in an automobile accident. I did, in fact, make contact with Jimmy. Jimmy's mother, her name is Kathy, was told about this investigation that I did on Irish Road involving her son.
Saying, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Then as you went into it more, I'm like, that's definitely Jimmy. Then I contacted you, and it's definitely Jimmy.
I asked Kathy if she wanted to go back to Irish Road with me and conduct another investigation. Jimmy made contact with his mother. What you're about to see is some of the most powerful paranormal evidence where her son talks with his mother. Somebody told you about Ghosts of Carmel, Maine regarding one of the videos that had to do with your son?
Yes.
And you viewed that video.
I did.
And what'd you think?
My first thought was, oh my gosh, that's Jimmy's voice. That was my very first thing, and I just kept saying, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Then as you went into it more, I'm like, that's definitely Jimmy. Then I contacted you, and it's definitely Jimmy.
And I don't mean this to be an offensive question, but there's probably people out there that doubt all of this. They may say, well, she's just wanting to believe this is Jimmy because she's trying to find comfort over the loss of her son. What would you say to people that would think that?
I believe in spirits for a long time, before Jimmy passed, so it's nothing that scares me. I'm honored to, to hear his voice. Whether I hear it or not, I still have comfort that he's on the other side and he's good.
Right.
But to hear his voice was a huge thing, and you can believe it or not, but I know that's Jimmy. And
And you know your son's voice.
Oh, definitely.
And this voice is definitely Jimmy's?
Yes.
That's amazing.
And if my sister could hear this too, she would say it's Jimmy also. And I may show her when you post, I will show her this video of Jimmy and she'll say, they share the same birthday, so she will know that it's Jimmy.
Wow. Can you tell me your name, please? If you're here right now and want to talk to me on Irish Road, what is your name? Please, if you're here right now and want to talk to me on Irish Road, what is your name? Hello? Can you say that again, please? The lady standing here, right here with us, does anybody know who she is? Anybody know who she is? Does anybody know who she is? Is there anybody here right now that died on Irish Road? Irish Road. Do you guys know where Jimmy's at? Where is he? Can you repeat that, please? That's the same voice. Where's Jimmy? Where's Jimmy?
I'd love to hear from you, Jimmy, if you're here.
Yeah, let's go to the spirit box. We're going to switch over to the other spirit box, okay? Wait a minute.
That's what I just heard. Wait a minute.
Please?
Wait a minute. That's what I just heard. Wait a minute.
Please? Alright, I'm just going to switch out the spirit box, alright? I'm going to make it where I can make it where I can hear from you better. Okay?
Okay.
go, instantly.
Hear that bike? Hear that bike?
And that's on the fastest rotation possible. Alright, you guys. Are you here? Couldn't hear you off that ghost box, so I had to switch out, alright? Jimmy? Hold on, a truck went by. Jimmy, this is Kent. Your mom might be able to hear you better. I got it on white noise. We're going to have to shut this down. The mosquitoes are ripping us up. Okay? I'm glad you listened to me, buddy.
Me too.
Hey, just keep in mind, you're not forgotten, all right? I'll make sure of that. Your mom will make sure of that.
Yeah, she will.
You want to say goodbye to your mom?
Mom? Mom? Mom?
Okay, well, we're going to go for now. We'll be back another time. Jimmy, did you want to talk to your mom again? Yeah? 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 Jimmy, to confirm this is you, what's your mom's name? You want me to bring her back here to talk to you?
Jimmy, Jimmy. We buried Graham today. Went to the pumpkin patch, something you always love to do. I miss you, bud.
Jimmy, if you're here, talk to us anyway, even if we can't hear what you're saying. Sometimes in our realm, what you say is really fast and we don't catch it. Okay?
That was his voice.
Said okay.
That
But like we promised you said we'll come back, and I promised you I'd bring your mother here. So here's your opportunity to talk with your mom.
I love you, Jimmy. I love you, Jimmy. I love you, Jimmy.
On November 7th, I'm going to be releasing a special investigation involving Jimmy. And in this investigation, we're also going to go back and look at the investigation we did with Cass Roberts, who died on Dead Man's Curve back in the late 90s.